So about a month ago, I put a video out titled "The Truth About Self-Injury, A Therapist's Story." And in this video, I detailed my experience working with individuals who self-injure. The main theme and the goal that I was trying to really push with this video, the message that I wanted to get out there, was that self-injury occurs on a much more broad spectrum than I think a lot of individuals realize. Myths such as only teenagers or people who wear all black self-injure, it's just ridiculous, honestly, because I've seen individuals from all backgrounds, incomes, colors, ages. I have seen an incredibly diverse network of people who self-injure, and this is a much more common issue than I was ever aware of before I became a therapist, and I think it's a much more common issue than the general public gives it credit for as well. As always, a lot of you had some questions after watching this video, and there was one question that I really wanted to make a video on because I just think it's such an important topic to discuss, and I'm going to be addressing that today. So first of all, thank you everyone for your involvement and your comments on this video and your encouragement. I love that we're all trying to spread awareness about mental health, and I love the community that we had generated on this particular channel and in many other channels that I follow as well. Your support is very much appreciated, and I love what you're doing on your platforms as well as mine. If you are new here, my name is Jessica and I'm the mental health mom. I'm a mental health counselor in Florida. I have a master's in clinical mental health counseling, and I have experience working with individuals and groups in the therapy setting. I also have experience as a researcher, teaching at the university level, and as a psychometrist, where I perform neuropsychological assessments and evaluations for things like ADHD, Alzheimer's, dementia, even personality disorders. Basically anything you can think of, I've probably tested someone for it. My goal is always to help individuals use the tools they already have in order to become their favorite versions of themselves. And individuals who are self-harming probably are not their favorite version of themselves at that particular moment. Furthermore, I know that seeing a friend or beloved family member engage in self-harm can be really distressing, can be really hurtful. And so I got some comments, one that I really want to touch upon from you guys, and I really appreciate your engagement on my channel. So the Productive Mommy, which if you are not aware of her channel, then please go and visit her. She does a lot of lifestyle cleaning videos and some videos on mental and emotional health as well. Yana is a really faithful follower, and so thank you so much, Yana, for your engagement here. You had a very good question, and I want to address that today. You asked, is there anything that could be said or done to help a person who is doing self-harm? What is the best thing after obviously asking if they could consider seeing a mental health professional? So, Yana, yes, definitely them seeing a mental health counselor is the first step, because I think what a lot of individuals miss about self-harm is that self-harm is not the problem. Self-harm is the solution. As individuals who don't self-harm and are on the outside looking in, we tend to look at self-harm as the problem. And granted, self-harm can be dangerous. There are consequences to self-harm that the individual is not always prepared for, but it is definitely a reflection of a much larger issue and not the issue itself. Self-harm is definitely the medicine for the issue. Whether the person is cutting or burning, or maybe they're running into walls, there are lots of different forms of self-harm. When this person is engaging in this behavior, their body is actually producing natural opioids, natural painkillers, and these painkillers are highly effective at fighting not only physical but emotional pain. So in many cases, you see individuals who are going through extreme amounts of emotional pain cutting because their body will produce a natural opioid that diminishes the emotional pain as well. So that was really a complex way of letting you know that, again, self-injury is not the problem, it is the solution. So now that we know that, what can we do about it? Well, obviously encouraging that person to see a therapist is paramount, but I do understand that every individual, particularly individuals who are self-harming or maybe have been self-harming for quite some time, they may not be ready to see a therapist. The most helpful thing that you can do for this person in this moment is provide support for them. A lot of individuals actually self-harm due to depression and anxiety related issues. And if you've been on my channel for a while, you're probably tired of hearing me say depression and anxiety all the time, but there's a reason I keep harping on these two things, and that is because it's really freaking common, guys. Depression and anxiety are the bread and butter of what I saw as a therapist. It's an everyday concern for everyday people, and lots of individuals who self-harm are dealing with depression and anxiety. And actually just providing some social support and outlet for these individuals to talk and discuss what their challenges are will do so much for the healing process. A lot of therapists will actually complain because we'll do this initial consult with a client. It's called an intake, and so we spend an hour, sometimes over an hour, just going over this person's challenges, why they're here, all the background information. We really don't get into an actual therapy session. It's more like an interview. We're just collecting all the information basically and putting a treatment plan together. We do all this work, and then the person doesn't even show up for any therapy sessions after that because they got so much from just that first session where they just unloaded on us. And so I think that speaks loads to the fact that just giving these individuals an opportunity to unload, giving them an outlet, someone to share their issues with, their concerns with, and knowing that they have the safety and support of that person does so much for them. So you can definitely start by letting this person know, I'm here, we can talk anytime you need to talk, and this can be a relationship that you have confidence in. You don't have to worry about me telling anyone else. This can be a confidential relationship, and this can be your outlet and the place where you share your concerns. I will be that support for you. That could really be a helpful step in this person's journey to healing. Now, in many cases, once you've provided a healthy and safe outlet for this individual to open up to you, they might be more willing to see a professional, to see a counselor, because you've already opened the door, shown them that they can have trust in someone. And maybe you've been planting little seeds like, hey, if you're getting this much out of talking to me, just imagine how much you could get out of talking to a professional who can actually diagnose the issue and put a treatment plan together for you. And that is very important. As a counselor, when I see someone who self-harms, what we do is we get to the root of the issue. We say, okay, why are you self-harming? What is this indicative of? What is this a reflection of? Because again, I understand that this is your solution, not the bulk of the issue. So let's get to what that issue is and then figure out how to eliminate self-harm from there. Once we've diagnosed what the issue is, medication might be helpful, but it might not. And understand that medication is always your choice. In many cases, the combination of pharmaceutical and talk therapy are the most beneficial and most effective for clients, particularly clients who have trouble opening up. But again, this is not something that has to be done. It is always something that is agreed upon by you and your counselor, and you will never be forced into taking something that you are uncomfortable taking. Now, once you have spoken to a counselor and we've diagnosed what the issue is, what is the cause of you self-harming, we would then discuss what your triggers are, and we would try to eliminate those triggers. Maybe a trigger is talking to an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend. Maybe that's just something that is too painful for you. In that case, cut off communication. You come first in this relationship of you and your therapist, and you starting on your journey to healing is what is most important. So if that requires you cutting off your contact with the toxic people in your life, then done. Cut those people out. If you can't cut them out completely, maybe you need to create a healthy distance between you and that person. But maybe your trigger is not a person. Maybe your trigger is stressors at work. Maybe you can find another job. Maybe you can limit contact with your boss. The important thing is that you are discovering what your triggers are and you are limiting your exposure to those triggers so that we can reduce the amount that you are self-harming. Now, once we have limited your exposure to triggers, what we want to do is allow you time to spoil yourself. Self-care, self-care, self-care. Bring some elements of fun and laughter and amusement and joy into your life. So you see what we're doing here. We're trying to limit the stressors and boost up the joy. That's really important because what self-care is going to do for you is provide experiences that leave you feeling more satisfied, more fulfilled, and that's going to put a little bit of emotional health into the bank for you so that next time you have a stressful situation, it won't be as triggering for you because you have some more emotional resources that you can use to deal with that stressful event. The more you take care of yourself, the less stressful things are going to be. So that is very important. More self-care, less stress. More self-care, more emotional resources to deal with stress. If you hear nothing else I say, hear that. Take care of yourselves, people. The next thing I would recommend is exercise. I know a lot of us don't like to hear the word exercise. Exercise bad, but exercise is a great not only stress reliever, but also antidepressant. When you exercise, you release serotonin, and that is a very, very valuable tool in combating depression. I'm not saying that you have to go to the gym 6 days a week. I don't do that. Get outside, get some sunlight, get a brisk walk going, maybe sweat a little bit, get your heart rate up. This is good for you. It's not only going to provide some more serotonin flow within your brain, but it's actually going to help you sweat out the cortisol. Cortisol is that really yucky hormone that you release when you're stressed, and it's great for helping you in dangerous situations to fight off a predator or run really fast or do all those things you need to do. But unfortunately, a lot of us have many stressors in our life that are not life-threatening, and so we're not expelling that cortisol from our body, and it's just kind of floating around in there and causing irritability and just yuckiness in general. If you exercise, that is a great way of lowering those cortisol levels and leaving you in an overall more satisfied emotional and mental state. Now, a lot of the things that we have been discussing are preventative measures, but what about when you're in that moment and you feel the need to self-harm? Jessica, what do? I don't want to do this, but I kind of do want to do this because I'm at the end of my rope here. Well, one thing you can do is hold ice. Ice gives you that same painful feeling that burning or cutting would give to you, but it doesn't do any damage and it's not dangerous for you to do this. Hold ice, you'll get this really uncomfortable tingling in your hands. More than likely, you'll be producing those same natural opioids that you would be producing whenever you cut or burn or whatever your method of self-harm is as well. But again, this is not a danger to you. A lot of people also enjoy using rubber bands. They'll keep rubber bands around their wrists, and then whenever they feel the need to self-harm, they'll snap the rubber band because, again, it is that same tactile, sharp sensation without any damage. Some individuals enjoy drawing on themselves with a really sharp pen that gives them that same sensation of like a needle. You can get the really sharp, fine point pens that again won't do any damage to your skin. It's not in any way physically damaging to you. I have seen so many creative and beautiful temporary tattoos that individuals have drawn on their arms as an alternative for self-harm. Now, the last recommendation I have as an alternative to self-harm would be the employment of what I call a snap phrase. A snap phrase is a phrase or quote that is highly motivational and highly moving to you. So you choose this phrase, and it's something that really resonates for you, something that has been life-changing, and something that is so powerful to you that it snaps you out of that toxic place that you are currently in. Mine is, "You're the sky, everything else is just weather." I keep this quote up in my house because if I'm having a really down day, if I've had a lot of stressors come at me and I'm just feeling really defeated, I can see this quote and instantly be reminded that these things are going to pass and I'm still going to be here. You know, this is weather. This is a short-term thing, but I'm the sky. These things are going to change, they're going to come and go, and I will still be here. That is such a moving quote. So that is my snap phrase for really any occasion. I keep it up in an area in my house that we access quite a bit, which is the kitchen. I am always in the kitchen. Your girl loves her food. So I keep that up in my kitchen, and anytime I'm having trouble getting my spirits up or keeping my spirits up, I can see that quote and it snaps me out of the depressed mood. And so I recommend this for my clients who self-harm as well. They say it has been highly beneficial for them. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. What did I miss? Tell me some alternatives that you have for self-harm. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you like this video and want to see more like it, and hit the bell so that you can receive notifications next time we post. All right, see you next time. Bye.